In this maelstrom of digital connectivity, when hundreds of voices beg for attention, have you ever felt like a small boat, adrift in the huge ocean of social connections, desiring to be anchored in the hearts and minds of those around you? It's simple to feel lost, unappreciated, and devalued. But what if I told you that there is a timeless concept that can serve as your compass, assisting you in turning into someone who actually matters to others around you, rather than simply another face in the crowd? We're delving deeply into the skill of making yourself a priority in other people's lives, not via manipulation or games, but through the profound and genuine principles of Stoicism. Welcome to a trip where ancient wisdom meets modern living. Join me as we discuss how to shine brightly enough in a sea of relationships to be recognized and appreciated. Please make sure to hit the subscribe button and give us a thumbs up if you're prepared to reveal these secrets. Show this video to your group and pay close attention to all the informative moments at the conclusion. You never know when this adventure will end and how it will change the music relationships in your life. Music first steps, problem and context. We often find ourselves confronted with a depressing imbalance in our search for meaning within the intricate web of social relationships, a persistent feeling that we are more important to others than they are to us. This view, which is frequently overshadowed by the unsettling sensation of being underappreciated, prompts a thorough investigation of one's own value. The age-old wise concept of Stoicism provides us with direction. This is why an internal locus of control is emphasized in Stoic philosophy, which has its roots in the writings of intellectuals like Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus. During his meditations, Marcus Aurelius made the significant observation that your thoughts control you, not external circumstances. When you accept this, you'll find strength. This stirring declaration echoes the Stoic conviction that genuine worth and contentment originate inward, not elsewhere. It serves as a reminder that our value is derived from our own self-perception and inner resilience, rather than from the whims or opinions of others. Another Stoic icon, Seneca, emphasized the value of inner strength and independence. He said quite beautifully that there is no wind that is beneficial if a man does not know to which port he is sailing. This realization emphasizes how important it is to be self-aware and to know our own ideals and objectives in regard to the others in our social relationships. It implies that the first step to having adequate value placed on us by others is understanding who we are and what we are worth. Epictetus supports this Stoic approach by emphasizing the paradox of control. He contends that we should put less emphasis on how other people see us and instead concentrate on our responses, behaviors, attitudes, and what we can control. It is freeing to separate ourselves from outside validation and to develop a self-worth that is not influenced by other people's perceptions of ourselves. The Stoic method of discovering value in oneself is also consistent with modern psychology ideas. A significant psychologist named Carl Jung once remarked that the opportunity of a lifetime is to discover your true self. This is consistent with the Stoic notion of authentic living, which holds that living in line with one's own nature and virtues is the path to true value and happiness. Step 2. Application and solution. We go to the philosophical canon and the rich wellspring of Stoicism for useful strategies in this investigation of increasing our significance in the lives of others. Instead of using deceptive or manipulative methods, the goal here is to promote a thoughtful and sincere approach to developing real, meaningful relationships. Stoicism is essentially the wisdom of realizing and mastering what we can control. Epictetus once said, "We cannot choose our external circumstances, but we can always choose how, in the context of relationships, we respond to them." This entails concentrating on our deeds, responses, and sincere conversations with other people. By doing this, we improve the quality of our presence in other people's lives and increase the likelihood that they will sincerely value and respect us. Another Stoic philosopher, Marcus Aurelius, highlighted the significance of genuineness in human relationships. He told us to stop wasting time debating the qualities of a decent man. This gets at the essence of building high-value relationships, conducting ourselves in a sincere, compassionate, and principled manner in all of our dealings. When we live up to the values we respect, we draw other people who share our values, which builds the basis for deep and lasting connections. Seneca also reminds us to cherish the time we spend with people through her teachings on the fleeting nature of life and the significance of living in harmony with the natural world. He claimed that if one lives well, life is sufficient. This emphasizes the need of living in the now and giving our relationships our whole attention. We show others that we value our connections by giving them our whole focus and genuine attention, which encourages a reciprocal appreciation and strengthens the connection. The larger philosophical framework also reflects the application of these Stoic ideas. According to Aristotle, eudaimonia, or flourishing, is attained by engaging in morally upright pursuits that make up a life well lived in the context of genuine relationships. This translates into having honest, courteous, and mutually fulfilling interactions with others. By aiming for personal excellence in the way we interact with others, we build relationships that are beneficial to our general happiness and well-being, in addition to being valued. Carl Jung's psychological insights shed more light on this strategy. He was a strong proponent of individuation, the process of realizing one's own identity and the reality of the world around one. According to Jung, the encounter of two personalities is akin to the interaction of two chemical substances. In the event of a response, both undergo transformation. According to this viewpoint, we should approach relationships as complete, self-aware people who are able to build meaningful bonds that benefit and change both sides. Step 3. The Stoic Principle. The Stoic philosophy offers significant understanding of the nature of relationships and self-worth. It is firmly based in the knowledge of intellectuals such as Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, and Epictetus. The proverb, "Show me your friends, and I'll tell you who you are," highlights the importance of reciprocity in relationships, as well as the influence of our social circle on our identity. A detailed examination of these dynamics is encouraged by Stoicism, especially with regard to the value we place on ourselves and how it manifests in our relationships with others. Roman emperor and renowned Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius highlighted the need of introspection in determining one's place in relationships. Rather than looking outside for approval, he thought that true worth could only be found within. The famous quote from Aurelius states that a man's worth is determined by the value he places on himself. This emphasizes the Stoic idea that our sense of worth should be based on our own assessments of our contributions and usefulness, rather than being unduly influenced by the opinions or priorities of others. Another important Stoic character, Seneca, talked about striking a balance between our need for independence and our social nature. He counseled us to surround ourselves with positive influences. This means avoiding relationships where we feel neglected or unappreciated in favor of ones that are uplifting and mutually beneficial. According to Seneca's advice, relationships can become unfulfilling if we become too reliant on other people or needy in order to feel good about ourselves. Rather, we ought to foster connections that promote respect and progress for both parties. Epictetus, renowned for his guidance on self-control and acceptance, addresses this topic as well. He asserted that although we have no control over the outside world, we do have control over how we react to it. When we apply this to relationships, we have to accept that we might not always be others' first priorities, and that's okay. We are in charge of how we react to this insight and how we regard ourselves in these situations. These ideas are echoed by Western psychology and philosophy. According to Aristotle, virtue is found in striking a balance, in this case between one's own value and the value of others in a relationship. This concept is known as the golden mean. Prominent psychologist Carl Jung highlighted the significance of individuation, which is the process of comprehending and integrating parts of oneself to promote personal development and better relationships. Step 4. Take practical action to improve our relationships. we can strive to be more valued in them. Stoicism provides a practical and dignified way that is based on controlling our availability and presence. This way of thinking, which has its roots in the knowledge of great figures like Epictetus and Marcus Aurelius Seneca, offers direction on how to conduct ourselves in social situations with poise and purpose. Stoic philosopher and Roman Emperor Marcus, sometimes known as Aurelius, emphasized the need of appreciating one's presence and time. He emphasized that in a world where fate and other factors rule, one of the few things we can control is time. By wisely controlling our availability, we show other people how valuable our time is, and so elevate our own status in their eyes. Aurelius was a proponent of the idea of purposeful action, which involves choosing carefully when and how to interact with other people. Seneca, another well-known Stoic philosopher, agreed and suggested that we choose our companions and our time wisely. According to Seneca's teachings, we can enhance our value by letting others recognize us more fully when we sporadically withdraw from our presence. According to what he wrote, being able to let go of our worries and be free from the control of our own desires is the key to true pleasure. This relaxation involves realizing the value of absence in fostering stronger connections and resisting the desire for continual social approval. Greek Stoic philosopher Epictetus highlighted the value of concentrating on our controllable actions, stating that in interpersonal relationships, only the learned are free. This education entails realizing that we can govern our availability to effectively manage our time and attention. People appreciate and value us more when we stand up for our independence and dignity. These Stoic precepts are also supported by Western psychology and philosophy. In his writings on the Golden Mean, Aristotle argued for social relations to be balanced in all aspects. This entails striking a balance between being unduly accessible and unreachable. The Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung highlighted the significance of individuation, the process of comprehending and incorporating one's own needs and boundaries. Healthy relationships result from this self-awareness when people respect each other's time and presence on a practical level. We can begin to be more appreciated by others by judiciously controlling our availability. Respecting our own time and encouraging others to do the same are more important than playing games or being evasive. We may foster a positive dynamic where people value and seek out our presence by periodically letting them miss us. Recall that our focus should be on making wise and dignified decisions about our own behavior rather than trying to control other people or the course of our relationships. Step 5. Learning to be patient. The Stoic philosophy elevates the virtue of patience to the status of an art and emphasizes its importance as a vital ability for surviving life's unending upheaval. This viewpoint is ingrained in Marcus Aurelius's teachings. Epictetus and Seneca have enduring relevance. The famous meditator Marcus Aurelius considered patience to be a kind of inner fortification. He held that circumstances outside of our control shouldn't dictate how we feel about ourselves. It is not the happenings outside of your thoughts that control you. When you acknowledge this, you'll gain resilience. According to him, this quote captures the Stoic essence of patience. It's about remaining strong and collected no matter what life throws at you, not about waiting around for things to change. Seneca, another great figure in Stoic philosophy, expressed similar ideas. He saw patience as a deliberate defense against life's swift currents, a way to preserve grace and dignity. Delay is the best medicine for rage under duress. Seneca suggested that exercising patience is a conscious decision to stop and think things through as opposed to acting without thinking. This method is anything but passive. Rather, it involves actively engaging with our emotional environment and controlling our emotions to produce deliberate reactions. Epictetus, a man renowned for his practical knowledge, taught that although we have no influence over external events, we do have complete control over how we respond to them. From this perspective, patience is an expression of this control and a sincere claim to our capacity for endurance and perseverance. If a man is not his own master, he is not free. From the perspective of greater Western philosophy and psychology, patience is a crucial component of self-mastery. which leads to freedom. Resilience and emotional control are ideals that are compatible with patience. According to Aristotle, the golden mean promotes a healthy way of living, with patience acting as a middle ground between reckless impulsivity and passive inaction. Carl Jung's emphasis on individuation, the process of being aware of oneself, is consistent with the Stoic discipline of patience. Through emotional intelligence and regulation, we reach a degree of maturity and self-awareness that improves our relationships with others and our surroundings in the modern world. Being patiently practiced entails accepting things as they are without giving in to the need for quick fixes or answers. It's about remaining calm in a world that moves quickly and is frequently chaotic. We are more appealing to other people because of this trait, because it emanates steadiness and confidence. People are drawn to people who, in the midst of difficulty, exhibit composure and resilience. Step 6. Self-prioritization in the context of Stoicism. Self-prioritization is not only regarded as a good habit, but also as an essential component of living a balanced existence. The idea that one must value oneself in order to be valued by others is echoed in a number of Western philosophical and psychological ideas. Notably, Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius emphasized the virtue of self-regard. He once said, "No one else will respect you if you do not respect yourself." The Stoic view that self-respect is the foundation for how other people see and treat us is reinforced by this remark. We may communicate to others that our time and energy are valuable resources that should be treated with respect when we learn to prioritize our demands. Another Stoic philosopher, Seneca, promoted the idea of self-care. He thought that having a fulfilling life requires taking care of oneself. We don't have a short life, but we make it short, and we don't have inadequate resources, rather, we waste them. Seneca implied in her writing that a life squandered results from not setting priorities for oneself. Saying no when it's appropriate helps us make good use of our resources and live a quality life in terms of relationships, activities, and time. Epictetus placed a strong emphasis on the idea of control, especially over our decisions and behaviors. He imparted the wisdom that what counts is how you respond to life's events, not what happens to you. Knowing this concept is essential to comprehending self-prioritization. From a larger psychological standpoint, we are actively choosing how to respond to other people's requests when we prioritize our own needs. This gives us a sense of control over our lives. This Stoic practice is in line with Carl Jung's concept of individuation. Jung thought it was critical to recognize oneself as an individual distinct from the group. Setting oneself first is a step toward this individuation, which results in a more powerful, distinct personality that exudes importance and respect from others. Self-prioritization is also supported by Aristotle's concept of the golden mean, which is the ideal middle ground between two extremes. Aristotle taught that virtue lies in finding balance, which includes balancing our own needs with the needs of others. Saying no is not an act of selfishness, but a practice of maintaining this balance by applying these Stoic and philosophical principles. We learn that prioritizing ourselves is not an act of selfishness, but a necessary step towards being valued and respected by others. It teaches us to manage our personal resources effectively and sets a standard for how others should treat us. When we demonstrate that we value our own time and efforts, we naturally inspire others to do the same. This act of self-respect not only benefits our mental and emotional well-being, but also enhances our social and professional relationship. Step 7. Time management. Seneca, a renowned figure in the Stoic school of philosophy, imparted valuable lessons on the prudent management of time, a notion that finds great resonance in both traditional knowledge and modern philosophy. From Seneca's perspective, time management is about more than just productivity or efficiency. It's about living a meaningful life and making deliberate decisions. Seneca famously said in his article on the fleeting nature of life that we don't have a limited amount of time to live, but rather that we waste a great deal of it. Life is long enough, and if all of it were invested wisely, we have been given a large enough amount to reach the highest goals. The Stoic belief that time is something we can never get back is summed up in this remark. Seneca emphasizes that time is a valuable and finite resource that should be used carefully and thoughtfully. Thus, she calls on us to be picky about who and how we spend it. This Stoic idea is consistent with Aristotle's beliefs, which emphasize the value of engaging in pursuits that enliven our souls. According to Aristotle, the highest good for humans is eudaimonia, or flourishing, which can only be attained by leading virtuous lives and partaking in pursuits that are in line with our true selves. We may allocate a greater portion of our time to pursuits that enhance our pleasure and personal development if we practice wise time management. Another eminent philosopher, Plato, also stressed the significance of introspection and personal development. He thought that under this situation, a life without reflection is not worth living. Time well spent include times of reflection and introspection that help us gain a deeper psychological understanding of who we are and where we fit in the world. The idea of prudent time management is further supported by Carl Jung's concept of individuation. Jung highlighted the significance of self-actualization and human growth. We can choose the activities we participate in that support our psychological and personal development by managing our time well. Epictetus, the significance of concentrating on what we can control, was also emphasized by a Stoic philosopher. He advocated focusing on our choices and deeds, rather than wasting time worrying about things that are out of our control. This method of time management involves deliberate decision-making based on our objectives and values. Autonomy is the eighth step. A philosopher known for his deep understanding of happiness and the good life, Epicurus makes a strong case for what true freedom really is. A key idea of individual liberty and self-control is encapsulated in his statement that no man is free who is not master of himself. The epicure is the foundation of this idea. In order to increase our sense of autonomy and self-worth, Ian's philosophy places a strong emphasis on the necessity of managing our emotions and decisions. Despite being different from Stoicism, Epicurus's philosophy is based on the belief that self-governance is the source of inner serenity and freedom. He held that simple life, the development of one's own virtues, and the control of one's desires are the paths to pleasure, which is defined as the absence of suffering and disruption. This viewpoint challenges us to consider our feelings and how we make decisions, arguing that real freedom comes from controlling our inner states rather than from external events. This viewpoint is in line with Epictetus's Stoic philosophy, which states that our perceptions of events worry us rather than the events themselves. Epictetus highlights that our mental tranquility is determined more by how we interpret the happenings than by the happenings themselves. From a wider philosophical standpoint, this Stoic viewpoint is consistent with Epicurus's emphasis on inward mastery as the path to freedom. The idea of self-mastery is echoed in Aristotle's concept of eudaimonia, or thriving, which is attained via the application of virtue and reason. According to Aristotle, the ultimate kind of happiness is reached through living virtuously, and according to reason, in psychology, this condition is closely associated with having control over one's emotions and behavior. This view is supported by Carl Jung's emphasis on individuation, or the process of becoming conscious of oneself. Jung thought that psychological completeness and autonomy result from developing an awareness of our inner selves and integrating various facets of our personalities. Similar to how Epicurus and the Stoics advocated, this process entails comprehending and controlling our emotions, thoughts, and behaviors. Plato's philosophy likewise emphasizes the significance of self-governance throughout his dialogues. The idea of ruling oneself as a prerequisite to ruling others is one that Plato frequently addresses. He contends that leading a balanced and moral life requires having self-control over one's emotions and impulses. As we come to the end of this inquiry, keep in mind that the route to inner liberation and self-mastery must be followed day by day, step by step. Marcus Aurelius once said that the finest form of retaliation is to become unlike the person who committed the injustice. In light of this, let us endeavor to be masters of our own lives, unaffected by the deeds or viewpoints of others, but rather led by our own virtues and wisdom. I appreciate you coming along on this enlightening journey with me through the ideas of philosophy and Stoic wisdom. If this strikes a chord with you, I encourage you to explore our playlists to delve further into the realm of empowerment and self-discovery. More enlightening material that can direct you toward TR quality and personal development can be found there. Remember to subscribe, like, and share this content to get more thought-provoking articles. We can continue on this adventure together with your help. Until the next time, embrace the road of self-mastery and make every moment matter. Stay intelligent and stay curious. In order to continue exploring the profound realm of philosophy and self-improvement, click the playlist currently displayed on the screen. Thank you so much for watching Stoic Energy.